Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Mr. Gardner here. Like and subscribe if you're interested. I try to upload content once a week, so I hope you guys enjoy it. Welcome to my special guests, Brooklyn and Tia, who are sitting here to heckle me all morning. So today we're introducing an idea of area and perimeter. So first of all, we better figure out what is an area and what is a perimeter. Let's start with the perimeter first. So if I take a shape like this, and I want to know what the perimeter of it is, this is how you spell it, P-E-R-I-M-E-T-E-R. Show that a little better. The perimeter is actually the distance around a shape, okay? So distance around shape or area. So what I mean when I say that, distance around a shape or an area, what I mean is if I was looking specifically at this yellow hexagon here, and I want to find out its perimeter, I want to go around the outside of it and measure each of the sides to figure out what the perimeter would be, okay? If I'm talking about area, and we're going to move this over here a little bit. So if I'm talking about area, I'm talking about the amount of space that this shape takes up. The amount of space the shape takes up. Okay, so picture like if I'm trying to find the area of something, I'm actually trying to figure out like if I covered it with a blanket. If I had a room and I wanted to spread out my blanket and see how much space it took up, I would be trying to figure out its area. Now, if I was doing perimeter, I would be trying to figure out, let's pretend like it was like a garden and I was trying to build a fence around it. So that's a way to think about perimeter and area. Perimeter is like a fence, and area would be like a blanket or a carpet or something, or a rug or something. So think of it that way. Next, I'm going to show you what each of the shapes we're going to be using are for this activity, and I'll explain how to measure using our green triangle. Okay, so if I talk about area, that's almost the same thing. If I use my green triangle as my reference point, so we can assume that this green triangle takes up a surface of 1. So we're just going to call our green triangle, the area of our green triangle is 1, okay? If I block it over the blue parallelogram, I can see that I can fit a green triangle there on that side, and I could probably fit another green triangle there on that side. So what's our area? It's 2. So 2 green triangles can fit into this blue parallelogram. So we would say that has an area of 2. That's the surface. Area is the surface. Next, if I look at my red trapezoid, we can probably predict by putting 1 on one side there that we're going to be able to fit 1, 2, and 3 green triangles over the top of our red trapezoid. So that means that our area for this activity is going to be, 3. Not 1, 3. And then finally our yellow hexagon. So the area for this, if I cover it over, it looks like 1 slice of 6. So I bet you if I went around, 3, 4, 5, 6, the area, so it would take us 6 triangles to cover this hexagon. So now what we have is we have an understanding of what the area and perimeter of each of these individual shapes are. So our green triangle has an area of 1, but a perimeter of 3. Our blue parallelogram has an area of 2. 2 green triangles can fit on it, but a perimeter of 4. Our red trapezoid has an area of 3, but it would take 5 triangles to go around it. And our hexagon actually has a matching area and perimeter, area of 6 and a perimeter of 6. So that's kind of how to use the shapes to make your activity. There you go. Great. Okay, so for the activity that you're doing today, for the assignment, I'm asking you guys to take a number of shapes like this now that we know how they measure and how to use it. So our green triangle is our main unit of measurement. So normally we would use a ruler or a measuring tape if we're using centimeters and millimeters or meters. In this activity, because we're kind of working with manipulatives, we're going to use the green triangle as our main measurement. So for this activity, you're going to need these shapes. You're going to need 3 green triangles. You're going to need 3 red trapezoids, 3 blue parallelograms, and 1 yellow hexagon. And what I'm asking you to do basically for this week's activities is I want you to put these shapes together in a way where they all touch on sides to figure out its perimeter and area, okay? So what you might want to do is you might want to configure your shapes together however you want. If you're doing it on the computer, I will also add a tutorial on how to use the virtual manipulatives online. But if you're in class with me, you get to have the benefit of having your shapes and everything right here with you, nicely sanitized, ready to go. So I'm just kind of randomly putting my shapes together. I'm not really paying much attention to how I'm doing it. I just kind of thought I'd put it together. So I've made sure that all my sides are touching. There's no corners only touching corners. If I do it like this, it defeats the purpose of the activity. So I want to make sure my sides are all touching sides. And then what I want to do is once I've made my shape together, I want to count the sides. Now in the last part of the video, I taught you guys that the green triangle has 1 side to it. And most of these shapes all have an amount of 1. The only one that's different is the bottom side of our trapezoid, which we know this side is worth 2. These sides are worth 1 each. So when we're counting these, we just have to count each side as 1. So if I start at one spot, what I would do for you at home is I would, if you're doing it on paper or on the computer, no matter how you choose to do it, just kind of keep track of where you start. So I'm using a paper like this, and I'm just going to count. I've made the shape on my paper, and I'm just going to count it. So I'm going to go around clockwise. So that's 1, 1. That side is 1. These are all just 1s. So as I go around, I'm just counting up my sides. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Now I can do a total add up of all my 1s. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So the perimeter of this shape that I've just made is 18, okay? Now for part 1, there's a bonus question, and that bonus question was talking about area. Now we are focusing mostly on perimeter, but area does factor into it too. And in the last part of the video, you would have seen the different amounts that each of the shapes would hold up. So in our example here, we used the green triangles. They were worth 1. So I have 3 of those, okay? I also have 3 red trapezoids. Those had an area of 3. So 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12. Our blue parallelograms had an area of 2. So that's 2, 4, 6. So 12 plus 6 is 18. And then the last one is 24. That's our hexagon. It was worth 6. So my total area is 24. You're probably going to have to do this once because in the activity, I'm asking you to use all the shapes no matter what. So you're always going to end up with a perimeter or an area of 24. But for those of you who want to do the bonus and throw that in there, you can totally do that. You may also find a different number, which would be totally crazy and cool. I'd be impressed if you found something different than that. So that's the idea. Is today you're making a series of shapes and you are going to figure out what its perimeter and area is. Part 2 of the activity is you're trying to take your perimeter and make it as small as you can. So right now I have a perimeter of 18 and I want to see if I can make that perimeter smaller. So I might rearrange the shapes a few times, like 3, and see if I can somehow make it a smaller perimeter. Part 3 would be, I want to try to make my perimeter as large as big of a number as I can. So again, I'm going to rearrange my shapes a few different times and see if I can make my perimeter longer or larger, my number larger. When you do that, you'll start to notice some things and qualities about area and perimeter. And there should be a concept that you come up with at the end of the week that might help you understand a little bit about how perimeter works. Okay, I hope this tutorial kind of helped you out, figure things out. And as I said before, like and subscribe if you like this content. I post every week. Thanks, Brooklyn. Thanks, Tia. All right. Message me if you have any questions.